Hi folks, this is Mr. MegaManFan. Like, share, comment, subscribe. You know all the things to do. This is going to be kind of a random video. I'm going to file it under Retro Hunting Adventures. It's also a mail call because I've got some stuff to open, but I've also got some stuff I've picked up from friends that I'll go through, so I'm just going to kind of take it at random, and if I have something to say about it, I'll say something, and if I don't, then I won't, but hopefully you'll stick with me for the ride. I know Tango will, he's sleeping on the couch over there. What we have here is a sealed case of PlayStation Portable games. You probably can't tell what it is from those markings, but I know what it is. Hannah Montana, Rock Out the Show. So if Ryan or Trenton or anybody else was wondering why I had a Hannah Montana game, it was because I bought this case and it looks like it already came open in shipping, so I might as well just show it to you. And I wanted a loose game, so I didn't have to break the case open, but the case itself broke open. So what are you gonna do? 4 sealed copies of Hannah Montana, Rock Out the Show. It just made me laugh to have a case of a PSP game. The only other one that I've got a full case of is Wipeout, so it's just a little novelty, a little something to amuse, that you can still actually buy dealer shipping cases of PlayStation Portable games at very reasonable prices too. I mean, that's like $3 a piece for a sealed game, so not super expensive, which tells you at the end they were pumping out more PSP games than there were people buying PSP games. Otherwise we wouldn't have a situation like this now. Either that or they just grossly overestimated the popularity of Hannah Montana, but I think they did with PSP games in general, because I also have 2 sealed cases of Wipeout, which you probably saw in a previous video. Opened one because it was already coming open like this one was, and the other I left intact with all of the games inside of it. So a couple of Nintendo 3DS games. This one was kind of interesting because they said this was not a pre-order and wait till it's manufactured situation. They said these are in stock, and when the order window ends, they will ship out immediately. And true to their word, I have both of them in hand right now. Go Coca-Cola 3D Space Recipe for Disaster, and Go Coca-Cola Harmonious Forest Revenge. So what I'm probably going to do with these is the same thing that I did with all my other Nintendo 3DS games, and that's use my hacked 3DS to dump the copies onto local storage and then put these in much larger storage so that I can play the games without needing to have the physical games on hand. If you use the 3ds.hacks.guide, it's not too hard to do to modify your 3DS. Ah yes, this is an album by a Canadian rapper named Word Burglar. It's his latest album, Bergonomic. And he asked me if I wanted a physical copy of it because I've reviewed several of his previous albums, so I guess he decided I'll hook Steve up, and I appreciate that, Bergie. Thank you. He's a funny guy. I mean, not haha, like funny communicating guy, but as a rapper, he's got funny punchlines guy. Like, if you're into stuff like G.I. Joe video games, pro wrestling, etc. He's I don't know if he would appreciate the nerdcore label, but he does kind of fit that category to me, whereas he makes rap songs for people who are into pop culture ephemera. Maybe that's a better way of putting it. Maybe he'd appreciate that explanation. Somehow I'm always more verbose when I'm reviewing an album than when I'm talking about one in a video, but I look forward to listening to this. Arcade Paradise. I don't even see anything that identifies it as a limited run games release, but I know I bought it through the LRG section on Amazon, so maybe it's just an LRG distributed title. But anyway, the premise here is that you can turn a laundromat into an arcade, but you can also play the games in the arcade. And it even says soundtrack worthy of the cassette collection. I don't know if it's streamable or not, but if I decide to have a streaming night and there aren't copyright issues with that music, then Arcade Paradise would be a good game to stream on the PS5. Feel like it checks all the boxes. It's a sim, and it's video games, and it's a sim about owning video games and trying to make a profit from them, but still getting to play them too. It just struck me as a fun way to put those things together. Lots of cardboard in here, so everything should be well protected. But Ship to Shore, if you've not bought from them before, they have a lot of vinyl releases of video game soundtracks, so if that's something you're into, they are a very good merchandiser, and as I've already alluded to, their customer service is quite excellent. So one of the items I got 50% off was the Klonoa Door to Phantomile soundtrack. As you can see, there is quite a lot of music and quite a lot of vinyl in here, so I think instead of me just telling you that, I will actually show you. Isn't that gorgeous? Spinning that on a turntable is gonna look so nice. Let's take a look at the other one. I'm sure it looks just as good. I realize I probably should have been wearing my latex gloves for holding vinyl so I don't get any oils on them, but I wasn't planning this. And there are some liner notes on the other side of that art, so stuff to read as well. Right now I'm just trying to get it all back in there, nice and even like. That's not all that was in there. No, there's more. And Tingo is starting to stir, so he may join us at any time. This one came with a digital download as well, so I don't even necessarily have to use the physical version, but I have it anyway. The West of Loathing soundtrack on cassette, because why not? Because I have West of Loathing on the Switch, and now I have a cassette version of the soundtrack to the same game. But I also have the digital version that came free with it. And both of these were 50% off because it was all in stock video game soundtracks, and both of those were definitely in stock at the time of purchase. So, got a couple more things that I picked up to talk about that aren't from the mail, but are just things that I got in general. This may say Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory, but that's not where it comes from. It actually comes from Cold Stone Creamery. I asked them if they had any of these cups, and at first they said no, but we ordered some ice cream and we're just enjoying ourselves, and then suddenly one of the people working came over and said, "Hey, we just found these in the back, do you want them?" And I said, "Yes, absolutely yes." The best thing about them is they have never held any soft serves, so they are all completely food residue free, which makes them perfect as collectible souvenirs. Now, I'm not the kind of person that gets things water graded, and I'm certainly not going to do that for soft serve ice cream cups, but it's still nice knowing that these are unblemished in every way, and we were very appreciative that they just gave these to us, so we threw a $5 tip in the jar to say thank you. And then they said, "Do you want a bag for that?" So that's how I ended up with the Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory bag. But anyway, thank you to Cold Stone Creamery in Exarban. If you work there, you know who you are, and if you don't see this video, you don't. So either way, I appreciate you. I'll put my Ship to Shore stickers and my West of Loathing soundtrack in the cups. And won't need that bag anymore. And speaking of bags, this comes from Fix It Phil. We had originally negotiated a price, and then he said, "I forgot that one of the games you got for me didn't work, so I'm going to refund you on this," which he didn't have to do. And as of the filming, I don't know if he has, but either way, I've got two special NES controllers. This is the Joy-Card Sansui. As you can see, it's got turbo switches and a volume control. So there's the one, and he said one of these doesn't work correctly. I think the Bishu is the one that was okay, and the Sansui wasn't, but maybe it's the other way around. He might comment on the video and say which one was which, but I'll know that when I plug them into the Analog NT Mini Noir and try them for myself. But he said there was water damage on one of them from one of the integrated circuits, so I suspect one of these two, the turbo functionality, won't work as intended, but he said it still works. So maybe just A, B, and the joypad and the select and start, but not the extra features. So whichever one it was, I've still got two new controllers, and they're obviously not ones that you normally see, because everybody has the bog standard NES controllers or the third-party clones, but not necessarily these. So he asked me a simple question. He said, "Do you collect NES controllers?" And I said, "Yes." So thank you, Phil. You hooked me up yet again. This is Mr. MegaManFan. Thank you for watching. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in a future video.